We're going to be making this wind flapping flag in this video, both the flag and the script that makes it flap in world. This is not going to be a full-blown Blender tutorial. I'm most certainly not a Blender expert. I'm just going to make a basic flag in here. If you want more Blender content, though, just let me know in the comments. I'm just going to try to explain what I'm doing conceptually as I go along so you can understand it when you see how the script functions in world. So I started with a mesh plane, one-sided, and I mapped it to the flag on the left side with the UV image editor on the left, and it's shaped like a flag, and then I'm basically taking that rectangle and dividing it up into 6 segments, and then I'm going to replicate or duplicate that 6-segmented flag 8 times to represent the 8 sides that we're going to use in the finished product. You'll notice as I'm duplicating each face, I'm also assigning it a new material, which represents a face in world. The maximum of the prim faces is 8. And now that I've duplicated each of the planes, the 8 planes, I'm basically going to try to deform each just slightly by grabbing the verticals and pulling them, pushing them, sliding them up or down a little bit so that they're off kilter just slightly, so that you get the effect of the waving flag when it's imported in world. And you'll see I'm doing this in various ways to try to deform the flag slightly. So again, you get the waving feature. So the verticals will be up above or down below, and when they ultimately collide together, you'll get sort of this waving feature. And once I'm satisfied that I've efficiently deformed the planes, I'm basically going to try and pull them down to the same level and line up the end horizontals on each end so that they align. And you'll see as we spin this around in various views how it looks from different angles, and essentially we have somewhat of a fully deformed piece here that we're going to import in world. Okay, we've imported the mesh and applied the texture to all sides, and we're going to create a new script now and rename it. And now we're going to open and edit the script. We're only going to need 2 functions for this script and 2 events. In the default state entry, we're going to add a setTimerEvent function. This function will trigger a timer event at whatever interval we set, in this case about 1/4 of a second, which is about as fast as we can go in this case. We'll update the touch event to a timer event down below. We're going to update that save function in just a minute. There's multiple ways to do this, as there often is in scripting, and so I'm showing you some of the revisions I went through. I started out by creating 2 variables and ultimately resolved that I really only needed 1 to create the functionality that I needed. It just gives you an idea of what you may go through when you're creating something on the fly. Ultimately, this is the script I settled on. Let's break this script down and explain what's going on. The variable at the top of the script is used to keep track of which face is currently visible on the object. We set this variable to 1 when the script restarts, and you can see we also set the timer event for every 1/4 second, so this timer function is going to trigger every 1/4 of a second. Within the timer event, we're using the setAlpha function twice. This function sets the transparency of whatever side is selected. 0 is completely transparent, and 1 would be completely opaque. So each time the timer event is triggered in the script, the first thing that happens is all sides of the object are set to 0, which is completely transparent. And then, whichever is the current face count is set to opaque. The face count value is then increased by 1. And then there's a comparative in there that says if face count is above 7, which 7 is the highest face you can have, then reset the face count back to 0. So once we hit 7, face count is set back to 0, and the face that will be set to opaque the next time the timer event triggers is face 0. And so that's all that's needed for this script to function. You can see how the flag waves, and this is the end product. And so that's it. Pretty simple, but has a pretty cool effect. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. Make sure you subscribe and share this with anybody that might be interested, and I appreciate you watching.